Hi, and if you want to let me know when I can go ahead, or if you're going to do introductions, that'll be great.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, good afternoon. I don't know the time, but it's afternoon here. Yeah, my name is Kelvin, and I work with Hyperspace. As of now, Gideon is not on, and we are waiting for some of the participants to join. So, they'll join in a bit. So, please hold on for a while.
Okay, great.
That's fine.
So you know, you started live streaming.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll work on that.
Okay. Do we maybe want to find another time for the presentation? I'm not sure how many folks are here.
Okay, Mr. Gideon just joined, so we have a few participants, and Mr. Gideon will take it from here.
Hello, Doc. Hi, Doc. You're muted.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm also doing well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, sorry, we had a bit of internet issue.
Yeah, so I know how that goes.
But good to have you here. I'm sure a number of people will join. There's a general connectivity issue, but it's also going to be streamed on YouTube, so it will be there for people to watch later.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Kevin,
Hello, sir.
yeah, are we set to start?
Yes, please. You can go ahead.
Okay, all right. Then we'll start. There are some people also watching on YouTube. So, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the 5 minutes delay. Today is a special one because we are talking about what's is trending now, taking advantage of online tools to improve on our knowledge as entrepreneurs and be able to contribute better to the development of our own startup, and also be able to help those that work with us for the startups that have staff working with them. So it's exciting, and I'm sure that we are also going to hear a bit more about Nextford and how we can take advantage of it. We have Dr. Jennifer with us. Doc, take about a minute to tell us about your full name, what you do, and a bit about you. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gideon, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this webinar and including me in the Hapa Space community. So my name is Jennifer Bangura, and I'm the Director of Career Innovation for Nextford University. And Nextford University, our mission is to build socioeconomic mobility through quality online education at scale that is industry relevant and helps people pivot and promote in their careers. So I get very excited thinking about the education to employment pipeline. We have a lot of entrepreneurs who are enrolled in our programs who are running their businesses, but also want the flexibility of pursuing their education. So we are a fully online university based in Washington, D.C. I am originally from the United States. I currently live in Malawi in Southern Africa, and that's where I support our learners and alumni. My background is in global higher education, online learning, and career development. So I work at the intersection of those areas. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about Nextford. And if I'm able to share screen, it looks like if you can enable me to share, then I can share a presentation, if that's all right. I pinged Kevin, but
Right. Kevin, please may you make Dr. Bangura a co-host so that she's able to share the screen. So it's exciting already to have you here, Doc, and all the insights you have. I'm sure we are going to tap a lot this evening. So great to learn a bit more also about you and the fact that you have moved to Africa, Malawi, and supporting higher education. So we are talking about taking advantage of online tools to improve on our knowledge. Now, when we talk about online learning, what are we talking about? What exactly is it?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. So two things that we really care about at Nextford among many are access and relevance. So when we're talking about access, that means cost and ability to actually reach or attain education. So our cost, we try to keep it low. We have a subscription-based model. We start on the 1st of every month, so people don't have to wait for a January or a September term start. That's just Nextford. So when you think about, again, access in the broader sense for online learning, it's something that you can easily connect to, wherever you are. You don't have to worry about commutes. Right now in Malawi, we have a fuel shortage. So everybody who's trying to make plans is saying, maybe we'll put it off for a few weeks because no one can get petrol, giving considerations to some of the challenges that exist when accessing quality education, especially in emerging markets, which is the focus of where, most of our learners are. And then for relevance, so our curriculum is industry aligned, and we want to make sure that when people are enrolling in programs, that there is a direct alignment to the opportunities that exist in the workplace. And I think as entrepreneurs, what's really exciting is that you all are oftentimes creating those opportunities for others. So you're job creators, which is very cool. I'll put a link in the chat here for our program overview so you can see. So when, I can say I've been an entrepreneur in the past, a photographer and videographer, but, and I think when people are thinking about their businesses and how they want to upskill to remain competitive, oftentimes it's taking a look at, what the market needs, what your business provides and offers, and then where the gap is of your own skill set or the skill set of your team. And so I can share with you some tools and ways that people can, I'm still not a co-host.
Not able
yet.
to share.
Not able to share, but
Kevin,
you can identify.
Hold on, Kevin. Hello, Kevin. Kevin, please make Dr. Bangura a co-host so that she can share her screen. Okay, Doc, please go on.
Yeah, so it's oftentimes, this takes with lifelong learning, I really think, and again, especially with entrepreneurship, there's this healthy dose of self-awareness where you have to sit down at some point and say, here's realistically the skills that I have. Here's what I don't know. And I think that can be hard sometimes. You have to know what you don't know. And then for a lot of people, that can be difficult because it doesn't feel good to not know something. You want to, for some people, right? Some people are okay with not knowing. Other people, want to know everything. And so that's what I get excited about when I look at, our programs and our offerings, is that you can see for every course, for every certificate, we have up through undergraduate and then through MBA degrees. You can see at every course level the specific skills that you're going to walk away with and the competencies. And, no matter what online learning or learning people are doing, you ultimately want to know, of course, it feels good to have that certificate and credential at the end, but then you, especially as a business owner, need to know, how is this going to actually impact my company or product or bottom line at the end? And how can I, draw that line and connect? Okay, I think I might be a host now. But yeah, so Gideon, does that answer? You're on mute. Is that
Yes, it does, and that's an interesting one. So now, when people consider online learning, one of the difficulties is about discipline, right? Because now it's not like you are going to walk to the classroom. There are a number of things that usually regarding online learning, you have to do at your own pace, even though there might be some curated classes that you need to attend and so forth. So how can the startups that we have online, those that might be watching on YouTube and those that will watch later, develop that self-discipline to really take online learning as serious as the in-person classroom learning?
Wow, well, that's a fabulous question. So let me bring something up real quick, actually, from another. So one thing that's huge in any learning is accountability. And so it's accountability to yourself. It's accountability and commitment to whatever goal, you've set out for yourself. And so, I can briefly share what, how I would recommend folks approach that. And for developing a continuous learning mindset. So I'll just briefly, is that all right? May I go share some tips for that?
Yes, please, you can go ahead to share.
Okay, cool. So 1 second, let me open that up. I'll just talk it out because it's okay. We don't need to don't want to distract folks. So there's the evidence-based approach to online learning and for lifelong learning, lifelong learning, right? And so something that we see that is very important for developing a continuous learning mindset and ultimately, like what you're talking about, that intrinsic motivation to persist, to have discipline, to commit to something. First, it's having a focus on growth and setting what is my ultimate goal. And that's that self-awareness of sitting with your team or with yourself and thinking, whether it's a month basis, quarterly, annual, how do I want to grow? How do I need to grow? What do we need to, what skills do we need to build in order to achieve whatever objectives we've set for our company, right? So first, it's focus on growth. Next, we used to talk about the T-shaped competencies. And so what that was is it used to be a letter T. You would have broad competencies. So those would be what we call soft skills, right? Your communication, your problem solving, your critical thinking, skills that are going to serve you no matter if you're running your own business or you're working in a corporate job or for an engineer, working for someone else. So those are the broad competencies, and that hasn't changed. But what we recommend for people, again, is, and this is aligned with how you're building that lifelong continuous learning mindset, is building deep expertise. So we used to have one deep expertise where you get a job, you go to school, you have developed that expertise, and then you grow it over a 30-year career. Well, now we all see our careers are changing more frequently, and jobs that exist today didn't exist 5 to 10 years ago that people have. So instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to finish school now and then that's it, we actually are having to build out different sets of skills throughout our career. And so we call it the letter M. So you build out, maybe you finish journalism school and that's your expertise. And then, 10 years later, you get an MBA in finance and you focus on finance with through journalism, and then so on and so forth. I can't even predict, what the different skills are after. I think something that's huge and that's really important to us as an expert is thinking about how do you build a community of people around you to support you? So we have that through success advisors, faculty who are very engaged in providing feedback on assignments. But you also, need to be very intentional about building that community for yourself. And how are you letting your friends and family know, or your company, your colleagues or your employees help you commit to whatever it is that you've set forth? And I think it's kind of like thinking about building your own learning group. So how wonderful would it be if, you're an entrepreneur, you're the boss of and leader of an organization. And actually, we just spoke with, Allianz Ghana. Their CEO is doing a certificate with us. And so for him to say in front of his whole company, and you're the CEO, you would think, oh, you've got nothing else to learn. You're also, if he's got time, or if he's able to make time to grow, then all of us can make time or find time too, right? So, but also being vocal about it, letting people know, here's what I'm studying, here's why I'm studying it. And that's super important as well. So those are just a few areas that I would recommend for helping people, build that sense of accountability and discipline when it comes to any type of learning that you're, doing.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Trying to summarize what was said, you're saying that one, set a goal towards your growth, right? And if that is the focus, it becomes the drive that will keep you going on the learning journey. The second one, you talk about getting the broader kind of skills, the soft skills, right? You were talking about the T-shape kind of learning. So that's where I have a question regarding the T-shaped kind of learning. I thought that probably the top line will be the broader one. Would the vertical line represent the deep learning?
Or yeah. Yes, so it's actually two. And I maybe was confusing there. So it used to be a T, and now it's an M. So
Okay.
we have the broad competencies still that hasn't changed. That's still super important, and actually more important than ever, especially in the remote context where communication is so critical because you're not always able to read. Only you and I are on video in this call, so you can't read body language. So language and how you communicate your written communication in addition to oral, those broad competencies are still very essential. But it was just that the deep expertise and what you're learning. So you think about, artificial intelligence or e-commerce, sustainability. These are some of the topics and specializations that we have within Expert. Those would be considered different, the M part of your expertise, and maybe it's going to be like even longer. That those are topics that 10 years ago, you probably couldn't have even realistically studied in a university or specialized because they weren't as developed and we didn't have as many case studies for them. And, it wasn't more broadly accessible beyond like a technical population. So that's what I mean when I say the deep expertise.
Right. Which is very important in the field of our entrepreneurship, because most people become experts at nothing because they have bits and pieces of every kind of field, and because they don't have a specific expertise, it makes it difficult for them to really hold on to something that can be associated with them. So it's important. Now, let me narrow this down to Nesford, right? So what courses are you offering that those of us here, those who will listen to us later, can take advantage of, right? And be able to earn their degrees or certificates and use that to support the businesses that they are running?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let me give you share the screen real quick. So let's see, here we go. So we offer, like I said, we have a stackable credential model. So that means that we have courses, which typically take 4 to 6 weeks, certificates that could be 5 to 6 months, and up through undergraduate degree, associates as well. So associates and undergrad, and then through an MBA. So with the MBA, and this is just going to depend on what degree people have already. Like if you only have your high school, then you're going to want to look at undergraduate offerings. But typically here for our MBA, you can see we have these different specializations. So sustainability, and you can see the different courses that specialize you in that, in addition to like broader other MBA courses. Doing business across the world. So that's I think would be super interesting and relevant for our entrepreneurs who are engaging and interacting with people from different countries. You're thinking about India, China, throughout sub-Saharan Africa. E-commerce, so your digital strategy, digital transformation, and then advanced AI and the future of automation. So here you've cybersecurity, data science, and then hyperconnectivity. So there you have Internet of Things, again, cybersecurity and product management. But I would recommend, I think I can put it in the chat again, but folks taking a look at some of the different, here you can see for the BBA, what some of our different specializations are: marketing, building a tech startup. That one could be pretty cool for entrepreneurs who are wanting to have support along the way. And again, we do have already a number of entrepreneurs in our programs. And so that's cool because too, you think about, what I get so excited thinking about Hopaspace and the community that you've created is you're being very intentional about bringing together people who have a shared vision and, set of values on how they want to build their work life. Or, when you and I were talking before, you shared, just creating the type of actual community space that people can connect and share ideas and do what you're doing now, bringing people together. And I think it's super important when people think about when you want to continue your learning. And again, I'm sharing this from the lens of Nexford, but like, who are you actually getting into business with, or what community are you joining? And because we are all of us are the sum of the people we spend our time with, that include, in our personal life, in our professional, in our academic. So what I, want to make sure people are thinking about is, who are they surrounding themselves with? Because you want to be, when you're investing in your education, right? And your growth and learning, you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are going to push you academically, not too much, right? Be within your limits, but who are actually going to challenge you and your thinking, help you grow. I don't want to be, and I'm doing learning. I don't want somebody, I think about it like the parallel with parenting. You can't just constantly be like, yes, you're good. Good job. That's good. That's good. That's great. You need some constructive feedback. You need, people to actually keep you accountable to your growth areas. And so that's what I do think Nexford does really well. So, and here are some of the other areas too. So we have product management, supply chain, digital transformation, and so on. Is that helpful?
Yes, it does. So the idea of accountability partners is interesting, because that will push a person to go. So when, say, for instance, I have enrolled in the MBA course, how is the structure like? Do I attend classes, let's say Monday to Friday? Is it assignment based, working with other people in the group? How is the structure like?
That's a great question. And I'm also going to put in the chat here, folks, we're having a virtual tour on Sunday, the 13th. So it's just 30 minutes. And for the really in-depth look, I just put it in the chat, and Gideon, I can share it with you after. My colleague, Mai, is an expert in our learning management system. She, in that webinar, shows you step by step what the actual experience looks like. But broad strokes that I can share, because I focus more on our career development side. But, everyone who wants, so like I said, we start on the 1st of every month. So as long as people enroll by the 27th, they can start on the 1st of the following month. And there is an orientation that you are invited to attend, and actually that is required. And again, everyone's situation is unique, because some people are going in for the BBA, some people are going for the MBA, some people are doing certificates and so on. So the journey is going to look a little different. But there are requirements that are laid out really clearly on that program page for what, week by week, what module you're going to be going through, what projects and assignments are expected, what the timeline or deadlines look like. We use Canvas as our learning management system. So, how to actually access the courses, the asynchronous work. You do get, feedback from your professor and faculty that you're able to share. What else? So that's that's very broad strokes of what the experience is like. And then we have success advisors who are assigned to every learner. And so then there's a connection there with people checking in, making sure that you're persisting and progressing at a pace that's going to get you to achieve whatever goal it is that you've set out, whether that's completing your BBA or your MBA. But here, Gideon, you actually took verbatim from, this webinar that's coming up. So she's going to talk about how you're onboarded for that first course, how to access course content, how you receive faculty feedback, and an example assessment, how and where you can interact with your classmates, how to book your appointment with a success advisor, and everyone has access to a writing coach, how to access our library. Everyone gets access to LinkedIn Learning who enrolls. So that's pretty exciting too, as a great benefit. And then we have a career services platform called Localized, where you have all of access to all of these different webinars with industry experts around the world. So yeah.
Oh, okay. That's very good. I like that structure where beyond getting feedbacks from your faculty and lecturers, your students are also able to give you peer feedback, which is usually constructive. Now let me ask the difficult question.
Oh.
And for all those who are here, you are allowed to also ask your question, so you can raise up your hand or type your question into the chat box. Doc, one of the difficulties with online learning is about credibility, right? And it's not like the fear or concern is baseless. It has happened to a number of people where they have either paid for some courses or spent time to work on a course, and then at the end of the day, it happens that, okay, this is not even credible. So, one, how can people verify the credibility of online courses, and what does NESFORT do to assure people of the credibility of the courses that you are offering?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's so important to think about, because you're so right. People are investing a lot of time and money into, again, their development, their learning. So I wanted to pull up, oh darn, where's this page? So we have our accreditation page here, which talks about our licensing, and I can pull that up here on the screen. So I'm not an expert in that space, so I just want to direct people to this page so that you can absorb it and do your own critical thinking and review on what sort of credibility you're looking for, right? So we're licensed in the United States in Washington, D.C. The Higher Education Licensure Commission, and then you can see our ASIC accreditation, which is in the UK. And then you can see these different bodies that have given NEXFORT different approval, or, different certificates and so forth. We have specifically our page for, MBAs in Ghana, and I'm trying to find, you can see videos from other learners in Ghana, since I understand too that that's where most people are based. So I want to put that, here, so you can check that out and see what other learners from where you are saying. So that's too another way that we work with our learners and alumni to get testimonials, so you can hear from people who maybe you even know or who have a shared experience to yours.
Oh, that's super cool. So at least when we have living testimonies, it makes it easier to believe. So guys.
Well, and I love the question, Gideon, because I want, people need to be asking the hard questions, because again, you want to make sure that not only you're getting something that's quality, but something that's also going to be recognized. Yeah.
Yes, because what is a certificate if it is not recognized? It's difficult. So, well, now the accreditation, there's a page, and people also giving testimonies. That is good. What about the kind of lecturers and facilitators that you use, right? What do you do to ensure that they are providing quality education to your learners?
So that's another great question, and I'll put in the chat here lots of links that I can share with you, Gideon, as well. So I'll share, I just shared our faculty page. With any university that is licensed or pursuing accreditation in the United States, you have to submit your faculty profiles. They have to have certain credentials. They have to be of a certain caliber, right? And so that's, of course, really important to us, that we have faculty who are subject matter experts who, have the credentials for the NEXFORT community. So you can see here the different credentials that our faculty have. on the page and what their different areas of expertise are. Yeah, I can share the screen here because some folks might be on mobile, but I just want to give you an idea. And I think too, we have learners in over 85 countries around the world. And so what is pretty exciting to me is, again, you think about who you're surrounding yourself with. If you're an entrepreneur, it's unlikely you're only doing business in your immediate community. It's possible, but if you're building a business that's scaling and growing, even if it's only in your community, you still want to learn from people around, like how is someone in another country who maybe has similar challenges or obstacles, what's an innovative solution that they've developed for maybe the same problem that I'm facing or building a solution for. And so I think our faculty reflect that. So we have faculty globally, and again, you can check out their profiles here. They have their LinkedIn. You can see what their background and areas of expertise are. That's pretty exciting to see and experience.
Wow.
And again, yeah, I don't know.
Please go on.
Mhm. Well, I think it's the same with our learner population. So we do have peer mentors and peer student ambassadors who, say I'm starting next month or the month after, and I have all these questions and I can ask them about my success advisor, but really I want to hear from somebody who's gone through the experience. So we have other, alumni and current learners who are maybe a few months ahead of you, who are available to provide that kind of coaching, even you could say. And again, they might be from where you live, from your country, or they could be from another country and share their experience as well. And that's another opportunity to interact and learn, but you can be from wherever, right? Or, you're based wherever you live, but you're connecting with people in Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa. I know people in Malawi who are enrolled in our program. So that's pretty cool to get those different perspectives from your peers and other enrolled learners.
Wow. So it looks like the website is very informative, and all those who are interested in learning at Nesford, please make time to go through the website.
Mm-hmm.
If you have further questions, then you can use the contact us to learn more about it. But Dr. Bangura, is Nesford completely online, or some are able to have the opportunity to come to a physical campus somewhere at some point in their learning, or everything has to be virtual?
So everything is virtual, and we're 100% online. We don't have a physical campus. We did just have graduation in September in Nigeria, with where currently our largest learner population is. So we had over 400 BBA and MBA graduates, which was really exciting. And then at the same time, we host an annual graduation ceremony in Washington, DC, where we're based. So learners who graduate and meet this, the graduation requirements by a certain cutoff date, depending on when the ceremony is, are eligible to attend. We don't provide funding for that, so it is, people are going on their own. But that's one way that people can connect with other Nexford learners. And then we do organize, in our key markets, and Ghana is one of them, we will be organizing in-person events so that people have the opportunity to connect. And, we're exploring what that can look like in the future. We're young, so we are only a few years old, and yet we've already done a lot in a really short amount of time. So that's kind of what's exciting too about the growth that we have. So we have lots of opportunity to innovate and apply the same principles that we're teaching in our virtual classrooms or in our Nexford classrooms to our own experience, and how we can better serve and support the Nexford community.
Great. The satellite activities in the key market is very important, because then it brings you closer to people. I mean, I'm one person that believes that digital connectivity is helping, but it cannot completely replace face-to-face. So once a while, if that's the opportunity for people to meet and connect, that's good.
Mhm.
But that brings me to my next question. When I come to Nesford and complete my course, how do I continue to keep contact with Nesford? Is
Mhm.
there a community that I can connect with
Mhm.
beyond my learning?
Absolutely. So we have our Nexford alumni group. So we have a dedicated alumni manager, just like with, I mean, at least in the US, alumni support and alumni engagement is an office for every university. You have somebody who's dedicated to that. We have that as well. So we have someone who's spends 100% of their time thinking about supporting alumni, connecting alumni, finding ways to bring them together to stay part of the, the Nexford community. Because also, so yes, that's one answer. Two, we have an alumni group on LinkedIn, so people stay connected there. We share relevant opportunities. We also, like I said, we partner with a group called Localized for our career services support. And through that, we have these private learning channels that are for our Nexford community. And alumni are able to stay engaged there and connect with other people. We've even seen, I have one Nexford learner who's in Nigeria now, and he's a recruiter. And so he, is sharing really exciting opportunities, and he's able, can recruit from the Nexford pool of talent. And so that's something that we're, what's of utmost important to us is that our learners and graduates gain skills, but then also get jobs out of that. Or in the space, in the thinking about entrepreneurs, create jobs. And so if you're looking for talent, or when everyone here on this webinar is, you'll be able to tap into that Nexford community for the different roles that you're hiring for. Yeah,
that's great. Yes, it does. But then I have the next question. How expensive are your courses?
That's a good question. So every course, and the pricing will be listed on the web, like for the specific course, when you click on it, they're all the same. So up through the undergraduate, it's approximately $90 per month. And for the MBA, it's about $180 per month. So like I shared, our courses start on the first of every month, and it's a subscription model. So you don't pay for a semester at a time. You pay on a monthly basis, because we know one barrier, and this is thinking about the access, one barrier to education is like, how do you get that huge chunk of money for either a term or the, whole year at a time? It can be quite expensive and difficult. But, we are trying to solve for that by having a monthly payment option. And then of course, some people need to take a leave of absence, so they're able to pause for a certain amount of months and then come back and pick up their learning when, if finances are, they need that time. But that's something too that my colleague Mai, she's an expert in, she'll be talking about in that webinar on Sunday. So that's the pricing, and included in that is access to LinkedIn Learning every month, which is, if you pay for it on your own, is about $30 a month just by itself. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Now, my next question is about the flexibility, because entrepreneurs that want to further their education, they need to make the money and also gain the knowledge. So how flexible is your course structure to enable people to easily continue to work on their day's job and then also learn?
What a good question. So let me just give a direct example. So I'm going to open something up here. I'll open up a course, right? So again, this speaks to what you were talking about of like, how do people develop discipline? And as an entrepreneur, that's probably got to be one of the top skills that you need to develop. And so you have a good opportunity through Nexford programs to continue to develop that skill. And how we support people in that. So you can see this is just one course, okay? So it says it's technical skills for non-technical founders. Can you see the screen okay, Gideon? Okay, so you can see here, this is undergraduate level course. The estimated time is that it's 8 weeks. We estimate, 10 to 15 hours per week of coursework, no prerequisites. And then this is relevant for entrepreneurs and executives, okay? So here, like I've been talking about, what's super important to us are what are the skills that are going to come out? What will I walk away with as actual skills from this course? And what will I learn? So that's outlined right from the get-go. And then you scroll down here, what does the learning experience look like? It gives you exactly, what that experience is. And then you get this course outline. So here, it's going to talk about each module, which is typically each week. And one module is usually 1 week. What you're going to be learning in that module. And that's how people kind of map their time. So you can see the estimate, we say about 10 hours. So then you have your success advisor who's going to be probably checking in on you, making sure you're achieving things by the certain time set. And yeah, does this answer your question? You can just see like when the assignments due, and then our success team has often frequent contact with people via email or, through the learning management system. You can see on your calendar when different assignments are due, and then planning your time accordingly.
Right, that's super cool. And I think it's really doable for somebody that really want to learn such a skill. So that's good. Now let me allow anyone on the call that might have a question to ask. Is there anyone on the call that has a question? Before I proceed with my last few questions. Anyone on the call with a question? Okay, right. So now I know that there are some online universities or virtual courses that the certificates are given by other universities. And so regarding Nesford, are you affiliated to a university, or you have the license in your own capacity to give out the certificates you gave?
Correct. We administer the certificates and degrees.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question.
All right. So it's a Nesford University certificate. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So let me ask my last question then. Why would you encourage everyone on the call to study at Nesford?
Ooh, I like this. This is like, it's like a job interview. I think why I would encourage somebody to study at Nexford is, just like the questions that you've asked, we kind of are building this full ecosystem of support for learners globally. So I think we're offering a globally relevant curriculum that's also industry aligned. So it's rare to find this connection. You might find somebody, well, actually, I would even maybe question that, but like, how do you find someone, a university that has offerings that are actually aware of the different situations and contexts that people might be living in and are not just case studies and examples from the United States, right? Or not giving appreciation and awareness to how businesses are run in different countries like Ghana or Nigeria, only geographically, but also by industry, and that our curriculum is directly built from job descriptions and interviews with employers around the world. And then I also think, the community aspect and actually connecting with learners in your, in your own immediate community, but around the world who are trying to solve similar problems and who want to, support and learn and grow from one another. Yeah, but thank you, Gideon. I like the question.
Thank you for the pitch.
Mhm.
I'm sure that all those listening that are interested in taking further courses will check your website and
Yeah.
which one of them they might be interested in. So at this point, I want to thank you so much
Yeah.
for joining us. And now give you time to say your final words. Why do you think people should not just concentrate on the work that they do, but find every opportunity to add to their knowledge and so forth?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to share in the link here, my LinkedIn, so we can stay connected if people want to follow or, connect and let me know that we are connected through the Space webinar. What I will say has been like the cornerstone of my own career and growth is curiosity and building connections. And I think as entrepreneurs and as humans in this world, like I love when we can connect that. So curiosity, connections, community, those 3 C's are really important to me. And I think when you're thinking about your learning, and what I get excited about with Nexford is that it really touches on all 3 of those things. So you're curious about something, you can find a course, you can find a program that's going to, if you're curious about one, the programs that we offer, of course. Building connections, I think it's so important that we continue to learn from other people and not, again, I think especially as entrepreneurs, you can get very isolated and, you're working on either your product or your business and you get pretty siloed. So how are you building out and connecting with other people who are either doing similar work and that you can learn and grow with or from? And then finally, that community aspect, because it's like that's what makes us human, is our ability to live in community and with one another. And I think now more than ever, we see that our communities are not just in our immediate physical space, they can be virtual as well. And of course, I'm with you, Gideon, like nothing can replace having those in-person connections. And as someone who I did my master's program, I did my doctoral program in online programs because that's what fit my lifestyle. I was working full-time, a wife, a mother, and that's what, and an entrepreneur actually as well. So I encourage people, no matter what, professional development or learning that you're doing, to find something that fits your situation and fits the parameters of your life. So that's not, I don't know if it's a Nexford pitch necessarily, but like those are the things that drive me and get me excited in the morning.
Thank you so much. It's been great having you, Mr. Bankura, and I'm sure that we're going to host you again. There's always more to talk about.
Yeah.
Knowledge acquisition and knowledge sharing, and especially with the 3 C's that you have mentioned: be curious, connect, join or build communities, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Join or build. I like that because there's opportunity for both.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gideon, for building this community and inviting again me to be part of it today, and to everyone who joined. I appreciate it.
You are most welcome. I think because of internet connection, people have dropped, but those who are still online, we have a culture of at least taking online selfie. So
Okay.
if you can put on your videos, those who are on, I'll count down from 5, and when it is 1,
Prince is coming.
Yeah, Prince is coming. Great. And Anyone else? For those who can turn on their video. So I'm counting down from 5. So 5, 4, 3,
Everyone's coming.
2, 1. Okay, so with some smile. Okay, so I've taken it now. So thank you so much, Mr. Bankura. I'm sure that people are going to connect with you on LinkedIn, and for those that might find courses that also meet their needs.
Mhm.
From Nextford, going to also apply, and then we'll take it from there. Probably I'm even going to take a course. I'll also check.
Yeah,
See
check it
if
out. Keep
that-
me posted and take care, Gideon. Thank you again.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Roger.